Alright, so hello and welcome everyone to this brand new quick tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll be helping you set up Plesk control panel on AWS Lightsail. Now, Lightsail is, as you know, a very cheap alternative to the EC2 for smaller instances. Let's say you have just a WordPress website or something of that sort. Instead of going for expensive hosting, you could very well create your own server on AWS Lightsail, and it won't also cost you much. Like here, you have to choose the location in which your server would be based in. So I want to choose Ohio. So let's go with that. And it will be updating my options as to what all can I set up. Now I want to have a Plesk control panel. Now there is one version of Plesk called as the Web Admin SE edition, which allows you to host up to 3 domains for free. Now you can have subdomains and all within that, and you can host multiple websites within that. But right now, for now, I just want to host one single website, and for that, I'll be going with the lowest configuration, that is $5 a month, and that offers you 1 GB of RAM, and there are two virtual CPUs and 40 GB of SSD storage. I think this much is pretty much enough for us. And also, if you're using it for the first time, the first 3 months are free, as you can see. And here you can give your instance a unique name. So let's say if I'm going with Ricardo_US, that is pretty much it in terms of the setup that we had to do here. Now let's just go ahead and click on create instance. It'll take a while. Now one thing that you could also do is you can turn on automatic snapshots. Basically that takes kind of a server level backup for the past 7 days at a $1 per month charge for that service. So I think it's very value for money. The instance says to be running. Let me just check if the snapshots are enabled or not. So I'll just enable that. Okay. So you should also enable this. And basically it's just like a fail-safe mechanism in case your server runs into some kind of an error. And now when we go back here, we can see that the instance is running. And when we try to access the instance through the SSH terminal, it'll show us a welcome screen of sorts. As you can see that the Plesk has been properly set up, and to log in for the first time, you have to give this command sudo plesk login, and it will generate a one-time secure link for you to be able to log in to the server. Now you can choose either of the two links. I'll usually go with the IP one. I cannot see the selection, but I hope I have made it. No, I think I haven't. Okay, this time in I was able to. Cool. So I copied this and then I go here. For the first time around, it will give you this privacy error. You can very safely ignore that and keep on clicking on this one until it finally loads the first screen. As you can see, it worked. So you just have to click it 2-3 times and then you'll be in. You can set up the email address and everything here. And then you can enter Plesk. All right. So herein there are a couple of things that I really like to do if I want to have my Plesk up and running in the way that I want it to run. Quickly, I'll just head to the tools and settings, and if you go into the PHP settings, you can see that it only has PHP up to 8.2. Now, what if you want to run 8.3? So there are ways to just go into the Plesk installer and add that version as well, but that is something additional if you want to configure that on your own depending on your requirement. But for now, what I'll show is that here is our IP that we want our domain to resolve to if we want to host that on this server using Plesk. What you have to do is copy the IP from here and go on to the DNS settings of the domain that you want to connect it to, and then just change the IP, and it will start directing your domain to that particular new server that you've just set up. And then what you can do is you can type in the domain here. Let's start with a blank website, and you can type in the domain that you just configured the DNS settings for, and here you can define the system user credentials. You can leave them default as well if you don't use it much. Now this is the first step to just connect the domain. Herein you also want to configure the default SSL that comes baked into Plesk that you can use. It's a very famous service called Let's Encrypt, and it lets you install a free SSL on the domain that you have just connected. All right. So here we'll go into the SSL and we'll quickly install a free SSL on the domain that we just connected. You also want to secure the www extension for your domain while installing this free SSL. Then on top of this, in case you want to set up a WordPress website as well, might as well go to the WordPress section and click on install WordPress. And the domain is already pre-selected since there is already only one domain right now. You can configure the email address, username, and password. And then you can just hit install. Alright, so here we are done with the WordPress installation as well. And to be able to directly log in, you can just click here and it'll get you to the back end of your website. And as you can see, so we are on a fresh WordPress installation on the domain that we wanted to configure, and we have used a Plesk control panel in the AWS Lightsail server configuration. And yeah, I think this is really a very powerful hosting that you can get for a very cheap price, and you don't have to pay for the control panel separately. And up to 3 domains you can host in one single server. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this very short tutorial, although it kind of became very long. But yeah, hope you find this useful, and in case you want such other tutorials related to web development and anything that a web agency might need, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and then I'll see you in the next one.